matter the circumstances. And those kind of people are kind of rare to come by nowadays, I feel like. So his work in the community shows that he really cares about the people around him and people in need. And really
Right here, Matt.
I know you grew up across the river from Portland, but being a Washington guy, what's this rivalry mean? Does it have any extra bonus to it for you being a Washington guy?
Well, I was born in Lubbock, Texas, so most of my family kind of lives over there, and I have ties over there. I moved to Portland when I was younger, and eventually moved into Vancouver to go to middle school and high school and all that. So I don't have too many ties to Seattle or UW or anything like that. I went on some visits there and built relationships with the coaches, and it didn't get further than that. But I have tremendous respect for those coaches and players, and it's a good team. And I'm excited to play.
Chris?
Yeah, you mentioned that you hadn't played since high school. What is that experience like? Coming in as a recruit, signing, your letter of intent, and thinking that you're going to be playing and having all this experience, but then to have to wait your turn. How hard is that mentally?
Rather than hard, I would just say humbling. Coming in and having older guys that have been here and done that. It's really just a learning experience, I would say. Not as much so. I don't feel bad for myself. I don't pity myself. I try not to take it mentally hard mentally, but I just try to take it day at a time. And I finally got my opportunity to show what I could do. Before that, I just kept learning, took things from guys, kept building my game, and I paid off on Saturday.
Right here, James.
If you could just speak to the development that both yourself and Trent over the last year, in particular, fifth season, the season as well. But just where were you guys as true freshmen a year ago compared to now, where you are able to get out there and step into big spots and be successful?
Yeah, me and Trent actually go back to we used to call this 5-on-5 team, Big 12 Performance. Shout out Coach Jamar. And he kind of got us out to a few tournaments, and we met there and built a relationship. Devin Brooks as well. But yeah, Trent's always been my guy. Respectful dude. Works hard, humble, and we always talk about what we're gonna do when we get our opportunity. And, we've both seen some reps on the field this season. And, seized our opportunities, and I'm proud of him and proud of myself. And I'm glad I've been able to get out there and hopefully continue to do that and be successful.
Anything else?
Thanks, appreciate it. Thanks, same to you.
First guy to push the door open the right way. That's right.
Just how did this last week's feel for you?
Man, I was excited. We kind of had that one circled for a while, so it was a good feeling. Being able to see my old teammates and stuff, other staff members.
Chris?
You know, going from that game, now going to the Washington game, which is Oregon's rival, you know, how do you kind of carry over that emotion into this week?
Just keeping the fire lit. You know, we talk about in our room a lot of the time stepping up, so just making sure me and the guys ready for this one, and it's another opportunity for us to step up.
James?
What do you see particularly from their run game this week and Coleman and their running back? What stands out about him? What's unique about him?
Man, it's electric backs, slippery quarterback for sure, so got to do a good job of containing the Q and just making sure we knock out the right game.
Matt?
We've seen this defensive line tip balls, strip balls from the quarterback for sacks, and opposite sack part. What's it mean for you guys to have the mentality of the most disruptive defensive line in the country?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. You said it, the most disruptive unit in the country. So just making sure we come to work every day sharpening our toolbox, man. You know, we do a pretty good job at that. So just our edge guys, you know, we just making sure we get better and better.
Great, Brett?
When you come here to Oregon and you transfer, how do you quickly kind of, turn the cogs to try to embrace a rivalry like this, and when there's so much, dislike between these two teams, and do you kind of get into that mindset heading to this week, or do you treat it like any other game? How do you kind of embrace that?
I mean, like what Coach Lannon say, it's the next one. We just treat it with that mentality. It's the next game, so just going into the week with the mindset of it's the next one. Let's make it the best one.
Matt?
You were a really highly regarded recruit coming out of high school. How, in your time here, has it made you better to become the type of player that a lot of people, maybe outside of yourself, expected you to be? The development that you've seen through this program this year.
I mean, just truly being bought in and being inquisitive. I think it's important to ask questions. Just being around the building and making sure you get all your questions answered, not getting too big, too high with the highs, too low with the lows.
Anything else? Awesome. Great. Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Take that water.
Is there water for the media?
No, what do you charge?
Wood sorry.
Yeah, I'll give you
$10 a
$1
bottle.
a bottle.
$1?
Yeah, that's straight compatible to me. Look up on us. All right. Questions? Right here, Aaron.
This is a game that a lot of Ducks players from the past I talked about how big it is to win at Husky Stadium, how bitter that rivalry is. Is it tough for you to grasp that, given the fact you have experienced it, or are you getting a taste of it all this week?
A lot of guys have been talking about their experiences like playing there and stuff. I kind of just compare it to other rivalries that I've had when we were at school. So I feel like there's some similarities, but they're still like preparing me for the environment and how you're gonna play.
Kind of speaking on that, do you notice a change in the locker room this week at all from some of the guys, especially some of the Oregon guys that know what this rivalry is about, and what have you kind of heard from them, and how has that maybe changed of what you felt obviously in some of the preparations this week?
Yeah, some of the guys have been talking about just how big the game, like what it means to them, especially if they're from Oregon, just the huge rivalry and the past between teams. And I know it's a big game for them, and it's a big game for us, so that's what we've been focused on.
Chris?
You know, do you or the team, do you guys scoreboard watch when there's another game happening that's important to your outcome? Like this weekend when Ohio State plays Michigan, you guys gonna be watching that game? Or is it gonna disrupt your pregame routine? Just keeping an eye on that.
I think we're just gonna focus on what we're doing. Like we can't affect other outcomes, so we're gonna be worried about that. So just focus on what we can control, what we can affect, and the most important game is our game. The game we're playing this weekend.
Back up, John.
When you guys hear the word rivalry so much in one season, when you come to this point of the season, how much does that word actually mean to you guys as far as when it comes to your preparation? Like, does it hold the weight of the first time you've heard rivalry once you get to this stage of the season?
I feel like just because it's a rivalry weekend, like last game of the season, like everyone wants to end on good notes, so there's that, I guess that pressure to come in and make sure you're prepared and do everything. But from a preparation standpoint, I don't think you prepare for the game any different. If you prepare more for this game, like why wouldn't you be prepared for the previous games the same way? So I tend to treat every game the same way as if it's the most important game is that game that weekend.
James?
What stands out to you about Demond Williams? What makes him good?
Just his dual threat, like he's able to throw, he's able to run, he can do it all pretty fast. So yeah, big focus will be just on containing the game and keeping track of the other explosive players in the offense.
Back right, Brett?
Just wondering, what did you guys learn as a TV room from a week ago facing off against Miami? And obviously, you know, he was able to push the ball downfield. Obviously, you guys got a couple of picks, but how did that kind of experience facing a quarterback like that, you feel like, prepare you for this game, obviously, with Williams and potentially any other opponents you may face down the stretch?
Yeah, I'd say that game definitely revealed some areas where we can improve on. Like some of the deep balls, the 50-50 balls, and make sure we're playing with clean hands, clean techniques, and not getting a little too honest. But I think that game like helped us with some experience playing against better wide receivers and a better total offense. And I think it allows us to learn and grow from the opportunity.
James?
Obviously, you're preparing for opposing offense, but when you have familiarity with Coach Walters in particular, is there something you can offer your offense to prepare for this week? And you obviously know his defense and seeing similarities in what they do. Does that add to this rivalry for you when you're opposing these super coaches?
Yeah, I say it does add an element, but I've really just been focused on my side of the ball, doing what I need to on defense and helping my guys there.
James?
You see it more in practice, but I mean that's more from like a safety perspective. Can you explain to like the layperson of when Dante connects with Malik on those crossfield from one half to the other, it's done like 3 or 4 times. It's really good stuff. As a safety, that's to guard against that, but in practice or from an opposing quarterback, just how difficult that throw is. Can you explain to like the average fan, like to understand how difficult it is to do what they've been able to do? It's incredibly clutch spots to see.
Yeah, he's definitely been able to fit in some tight pockets, able to throw across his body in those crossers. Especially safeties coming down and nailing down on it. Like kind of opposite safety's supposed to see it, so they're making both pass on the routes. It's a hard combination to go against as a safety, but as we've been getting it in practice and we've been helping them like get a good look, so I feel like that's helped him improve. It's helped us improve play against it.
Anything else?
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're not the only one.
Last one. And tomorrow.